GamerCast Network.
Hey. All right. It's a video game show. It's a video game show. It's not a game show about videos. It's a video game show.
Welcome to the GamerCast Network video game show for Sunday, December 9th, 2007. This is episode 67. I'm Chad, and this week for the roll call, when I say your name, tell me what universe you would like to see a massively multiplayer online game set in. And joining us this evening is the mighty Oot himself, Keith.
I would have to say caveman setting I think would be cool. You start out with weapon rock, and you eventually upgrade to weapon stick.
Stick with rock. Stick with pointy rock.
You've unlocked spear.
You've unlocked fire.
And the elite mobs are mammoths.
Next on the list is Phil.
Go with the police setting like in the 1920s, and your objects are to take down the crime bosses of the time, and like you could level up your SWAT team skills.
I'd want to be the accountant. I take down Al Capone. Tax evasion. Send him to prison.
Next on the list is Ivan.
I think we need a zombie MMO.
So you want an MMO here where the populace has become zombies, yet you play as the human saviors or the...
No, you're a zombie.
Oh, you'll be a zombie.
Yeah.
How would you counteract the fact you're fighting a pack of humans and they have guns? You're not exactly going to be moving very fast at them.
Get rid of some of the traditional things, so a bullet to the head doesn't necessarily kill you.
More like just a undescript undead.
Or, start off low and then rise through the ranks of the undead.
Zombie, mummy, skeleton, and then eventually a lich. Because you know what? If it's undead, you got to have a lich in there.
And finally joining us this evening is Bob.
Mid 18th century high adventure, where like everybody has top hats and gentlemen go adventuring in like Africa and deal with natives and stuff.
Pass the brandy.
Exactly.
I shot me an elephant.
Pass me my sporting rifle. This beast is going to be killed or something. I don't know.
This beast is going to be killed when I shoot it with this musket. They have those giant mustaches. That's how you'll know what level you are. The bigger your mustache.
Your mustache. Yeah, so I want like Heart of Darkness, the MMO or something.
Well, my choice, since I like the outer space combat stuff, I want a Wing Commander MMO. I know there's EVE online. It's not action.
Yeah, you don't actually fly your ship around and dodge and shoot in that. It's more press 1 and you'll shoot your rockets. Press 2 and you'll shoot your proton torpedoes.
I want to be the Wing Commander pilot guy and fly around and do the actual flying. I don't want to push the button to fire the guns and do my dodging. Although it'd be kind of boring on those long interstellar travels from place to place.
Like Final Fantasy XI, where everything is real time. So in order to travel to Jupiter, you actually have to take 6 days.
That game just sucked right there. Yeah, I've just got to Saturn. Now they're sending me back to Mars. Oh.
This week on the GamerCast Network. Check out Uncle Gamer this week for the first details on their family-friendly prize pack giveaway, the biggest contest they've ever offered. The Gamertag Radio staff are getting ready for this year's Xbox Community Awards, hosted by Doc Adams. But in the meantime, listen to their newest interview with Saga about their new expansion pack for Phantasy Star Universe. This week on Achievement Junkie, Nelson spills the beans on the behind-the-scene action at Spike TV's Video Game Awards show in Las Vegas. Sarcastic Gamer takes a look at the aftermath of GameSpot Gate 2007, plus several major announcements. Visit any GamerCast Network site to find out how you can win Rock Band, absolutely free. Brought to you by Culdcept.com. Discover all of these great headlines and more by logging on to GamerCastNetwork.com.
Next topic.
Oh, I want to talk about Culdcept Saga like a MF.
Okay, so finally, now that you've played the game, I've been talking this game up for months and never makes it on the show, yet one of you actually plays Culdcept Saga. Now it's, oh my god, this is a good game.
You've been quote-unquote talking about it for months, but you never really talked it up.
For the kids out there, Culdcept Saga is the sequel on the Xbox 360. The original game was called Culdcept for the PlayStation 2. It was started in Japan. One of those niche companies brought it over here. It never sold well. It slowly built up a cult following over time, and now there's a sequel to it on the 360. And if you go on Xbox Live right now, there's a demo for it. To sum it up, it's basically Magic crossed with Monopoly.
Or a better way to describe it is you take Monopoly, which is, in my opinion, an extremely boring game, and you make it interesting by having to fight your way to control property. So instead of landing on property, and if it's vacant, buy it, or if it's not vacant, pay a rental fee, you get to fight with goblins and dragons.
The fights in the game are where the cards come into play. Your deck is partly made up of creatures, and combat is very simple and quick. It usually lasts less than 30 seconds. One bad thing about this demo is they don't really explain half of the stuff in the game.
Right.
Have you played the full version of this game or something?
I played the original version on the PlayStation 2.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. Is it just the PS2 version upgraded a little bit?
Yeah, it seems to be a lot of the PS2 version is in this. For those who have played Culdcept, the original PS2 version, they will realize that the localization for North America was done like by an intern.
Sweet.
Oh, your base belonged to us?
Yeah, along those lines. I mean, me and Tom used to play this game a lot, and we would sit there reading the card descriptions over for like 5-10 minutes, saying, if we push the button, what's going to happen? I think they cleaned the card text up a lot.
Well, the intern is now an employee, so he has more knowledge.
I don't see anything so far from the demo that they've changed the actual dynamics of the game at all. The big thing they added is the 4-player online play over Xbox Live, and that will be very fun.
So you're right, they don't really do a very good job of explaining. So the way you win each match is to reach a certain amount of magic points, but they don't really make it abundantly clear how at all, let alone
To
a good way
accumulate the
to earn
power.
that. So every time I've played, I've gotten thoroughly trounced. Most I've ever gotten is like 1800 magic things, and obviously the guy beats me because you have to get
Oh,
to
dude, no wonder you're a horrible wizard. I got 18 magic things. Let's play.
They don't make it very clear that there are 2 different types of magic in the game.
Yeah, because then, like, if you land on a square occupied by somebody, but you don't win the battle, you have to pay them the rent or whatever it is in Monopoly terms.
We'll call them Bebos.
And when you do laps around the board, when you get to pass go, you earn Bebos. But there's really no clear understanding what the difference is between that and whatever the points are that you need to
Widgets. You collect the land to get widgets. And people pay you Bebos, and you pay Bebos as you land on their widget-producing lands.
God, so simple.
Yeah. I think what might hurt this game is the fact that the demo is not very good in terms of explaining how this game actually works. People could be confused by it and say, screw this, I'm never going to play it again.
I've played the demo, and yes, it is confusing, and I don't really know what I'm doing, but I still think it's good enough that and especially since it'll be a $40 game when it comes out, I'll definitely pick this up when it comes out.
And when's the actual release?
GameStop has it on like February 5th.
Because we all know how reliable GameStop's release dates are. When they have Zelda was coming out, and the Wii wasn't even done being made, but they knew when Zelda was coming out.
Next topic.
Remember, many episodes ago, we talked about a Shakespearean MMO. Edward Casanova, who is a professor in an Indiana university, he got $250,000 to make a massive multiplayer online Shakespeare game. And actually, he didn't want to make a game about Shakespeare. He wanted an MMO to study virtual economies. To get the money, he needed like a, educational kind of topic. And apparently, he got his little grad students to go off and start making this thing, and they actually made it.
Dance, minions, dance! You make me an MMO based in the world of Hamlet.
He found a slight problem. When he put this out there for people to actually play it, because he needed people to play it because he wanted to study the virtual economies. He needed players in there. Many people found the game very boring.
Well, it is set Shakespeare time. They didn't have any fun. All they did was sit around and write and watch plays all day.
I think the problem with him was how he made the MMO. He didn't really have the gameplay first. He kind of chose the setting and then made the game, and he didn't know exactly what the gameplay would be, so he just had the players go around, encountered Shakespearean characters who asked you trivia questions.
Ugh. Oh, God. I think I just threw up a little in my mouth.
So instead of playing a game, you were really just kind of learning.
Studying.
When you answered questions correctly, that's where your experience points came from.
Well, that's
Sounds like
just awful.
Brain Age on a much less mobile system.
I couldn't think of a less fun way to play an MMO.
Learning. Ugh. So I get to sit there and bitch to William Shakespeare like, okay, when do I get my new canon? I need a new canon. Is it now? How about now?
So what he did was he decided to release the source to the public, and he's realized now that if you're going to make an MMO, you need to include puzzles and monsters, or no one's going to play.
Really?
Dude, what about York? He's a skeleton head.
Yeah, he could definitely be a boss.
Or at least a cool accessory.
Yeah.
That'd be
I
even
got
better.
a York head belt buckle.
Your guy just permanently has a skull in his hand.
I guess when he pitched this idea and started talking up initially, he was thinking that this would be Shakespeare World of Warcraft. Yet he finally realized that, no, you kind of need money to make World of Warcraft. Related article this week, I guess Bill Roper, when he was at Blizzard, their goal was 1 million players for World of Warcraft.
Yeah, they've only beat that, what, 9-fold, 10-fold?
Yeah, they're at 9.4, 9.5 million. And now Blizzard's trying to get more players with TV spots featuring Mr. T and William Shatner.
I'm a night elf Mohawk. Mohawk's not a class. If Mr. T says it's a class, it's a class.
That was funny.
There's no love here for the Jean-Claude Van Damme one. I used to like Jean-Claude Van Damme films when I was very young.
Cyborg rocked.
Today was a horrible TV day, by the way. I turned on like TNT and there was a Steven Seagal movie on, and I shuddered a little bit. And so I changed channels and I started watching. I'm like, oh, this isn't a bad movie. There's some action in here. Oh, God, it's another Steven Seagal movie. 2 different movies, 2 different channels.
Was that the one where he tried to save the seals? Steven Seagal fights for the environment. Steven Seagal is PETA. He'll save the seals, yet kill 50 humans in the process.
Next topic.
Oh, Ivan, I forgot.
Yeah.
Now, you bitched at me for not having told you of Culdcept completely. I'm going to bitch at you for not having told me of Orcs and Elves completely. Your description is very lackluster.
Well, I played it on a cell phone, dude.
I've been looking for an updated old school, like, Eye of the Beholder game.
I loved Eye of the Beholder games.
Yeah, those were fun.
Awesome.
For the kids out there, it's like the first-person perspective, but you're kind of walking around like a grid. You turn left, turn right, walk forward, walk back. It's not true 3D. You know, you can't, like, use a mouse to aim, that kind of stuff.
Oh, the old wizardry games and those kind of games.
Yeah. There weren't random battles. You could actually see the monsters, and then you just you push the attack button, that kind of stuff.
Well, then I have got the game for you. It's a game called Orcs and Elves. It's developed by what's-his-face who did Doom.
Oh, yeah, what's his face? Yeah.
Makes good games, that old what's-his-face.
Now, initially, Orcs and Elves was a mobile phone game. However, a couple months ago, it was released for the Nintendo DS. And this last week, the price went down to like $20. From your description of it, I didn't get the complete picture of that. It was like the old Eye of the Beholder games. So when I read people saying it's really good Eye of the Beholder kind of game, I said, okay, well, for $20, how bad could it be? I picked it up, and I'm playing it all the time. It's very fun. But here's the unfortunate thing. I think it's very short. People are saying on normal mode, they ran through it in about 5 or 6 hours. It has 3 difficulty levels. I kicked it up to nightmare mode.
Well, I'm sure part of the problem when I played it was that I was playing it on a cell phone.
Yeah, I could see it not being fun on a cell phone. The nice thing here is you got the whole dual screen. You know, one screen's your motion stuff, and the bottom screen is either your interface with your inventory or bring up a map. The nice thing is they don't force the touchscreen on you. You can control everything with the controls. You don't need to do touch to, whack your stick.
So
You don't have to touch it to whack your stick.
Don't you have to pay somebody for that?
You have to pay somebody a lot to do that. Wait.
Do you have to be an elf?
I don't think you're an elf, no.
I think you're a human.
You're fighting orcs and elves.
Well, what if I just want to fight elves?
Then don't fight the orcs.
Next topic.
Let me tell you about Square Enix's next Nintendo DS game. This one's going to be called The World Ends With You.
Sounds like a James Bond movie title.
Kind of does.
The setting of the game is modern-day Japan.
All right, then if there's one stupid talking cat or Moogle or
Chocobo.
anything along those lines.
Mushroom. Any type of talking plant life, I want nothing to do with it.
Now, hang on, let me tell you about the game. Here's how the game plays. When you start the game up, you play as Neku, and he wakes up one morning to see his cell phone have the text message, the world is going to end in 7 days.
You know what? I would just hit delete and continue about my day.
Who is waking me up? It's 6 o'clock in the them.
Obviously, Neku in the game doesn't do that, and he decides to actually take a more proactive stance. Here's the weird thing about this game, here's from their press release. Only with the coolest fashions, friends, and fighting skills
Oh,
can
God.
Neku...
No.
So not only is this dude some gullible ass munch that decides to run out and try to save the world based on a random text message, but now he has to go be fashionable while do it. I hope he fails.
You want the whole world to end, huh?
Yes, just to spite
Well, if it
that
has to
little-
be saved by fashion, then yes, yes, it needs to end.
Apparently the game isn't totally realistic, because one of the features is apparently... What the hell was that?
What the hell was what?
Did anybody hear that weird echo?
Yeah, I heard it again.
I heard
I
it
heard
too.
that too.
Oh, must be Ivan's fault.
Why is it gotta be me?
Because you're the only one who didn't hear it.
It's that little that sent the test message.
The world is about to end.
Yeah, trust me, if the world's gonna end, this is not the group of people you want to inform to try to stop it.
Next topic.
Nintendo is considering pulling all of their Christmas advertising for the Wii.
Because they don't have to advertise.
Pretty much, yeah. Because they don't want to already fuel the high demand more.
It's a little late, isn't it?
I know a few people that are still trying to find one for Christmas.
Well, you know what? Let's be completely honest. They've had a whole year to buy one if they really wanted one that bad. Why would you wait until Christmas the following year after it was released if you knew you were going to buy one for Christmas? That's your own dumb fault if you wait that long. What happened to July? You could have went and bought one in July. When
Well, I'm assuming that you have to put yourself in the parents' or somebody's position and not realize that you would have to buy something 6 months ahead of time.
I know.
No.
I do not accept that response.
I do not accept that response. You knew all the crap and the hype about it last year.
What if you
knew-
didn't?
Then what did you live in, a box?
We would like to.
You turn on the news and they show the retirement villages playing Wii bowling. I mean, everywhere you looked, it was the Wii.
Well, what if your kid told you in like mid-November that they wanted a Wii for Christmas?
Hey, kitty, tough. You're not getting one for Christmas. How about I give you one in July?
Finishing up the PR statement here, Nintendo said it would be irresponsible of them to continue advertising for the Wii in the presence of all the shortages.
They've already sold them all, so they don't need to advertise anymore.
They're
So now
too
they're
busy
doing
screwing their hookers and drinking their booze to make any more. yeah.
buying their panties from vending machines,
Yeah.
running around the streets going, "We're rich," wearing old panties on their head.
Let's think about how this works. What you have a product that you want people to purchase, so you create advertising in order to get people's interest up so that they go and purchase your product. As Keith said, they've sold them all. They have none left to sell. So advertising is kind of pointless.
But it is a good PR move. We're not going to advertise anymore because, the consumer. Actually, we've already bought everything we made, so we don't care about you people anymore.
Essentially what they did is instead of spending money on advertising, what they did was release a press release saying we're not going to spend money on advertising so that all the news places pick it up. So they're getting all their advertising for free now.
Next topic.
So some groups recently have been putting out lists telling parents what games not to buy their children for Christmas. We'll go with list number 1, which was put out from U.S. prosecutor Kim Worthy. Let me give you her game and then what her quote is about the game. So the first game on her list is, of course, Grand Theft Auto. This game allows players to act out crimes and rewards them for doing so.
Okay. It does.
Yeah, I don't have an argument for it.
Okay, next on the list is 50 Cents' Bulletproof.
And that's just because don't give 50 Cent more money. Don't
Actually,
encourage him.
She was just like, yeah, this game just sucks. Yeah, don't buy that.
Okay, Godfather, the game The Godfather.
I can't argue that one either.
Well, her complaint was it opens with a child's vision of the player witnessing the murder of his father.
That was her reason for not liking the game?
Not because it involves mobs and shooting people in the back of the head.
And 2 thumb buttons to choke. To choke.
Yeah, it's one of the few games you can feel their heart beat slower in the vibrations of the controller. Actually, that game was a lot of fun. My dad would just sit in the living room watching us play that game, laughing, and then go, "Choke him! Choke him! And shoot that one in the leg! Oh, that shotgun looks like it hurts!"
We'll go with 2 more of her games here. Resident Evil 4. Her complaint was a typical playthrough can result in the killing of up to 900 enemies.
But they're
Already
dead.
dead.
They're undead.
Yeah, would she rather, sit down with the zombies and talk about your feelings instead of
You
killing
really
them?
should work it out diplomatically, and then
No,
all.
why do you want to eat my brains? No. Why do you want to eat my brains? What have I done to you?
brains? No, that's what I'm saying. Why? Brains. Brains.
I mean, seriously. You're fighting zombies.
Her final complaint, God of War, the original. She just called this a sea of unrelenting violence.
Yeah, that's why it's so awesome.
If you could put that, underneath on the front of the box.
God of War : Sea of Unrelenting Violence.
Yeah.
You just sold yourself 100,000 more copies.
Yeah, I was about to
No
say,
kidding.
that makes me want to play it again.
Yeah, her list was of older games that really didn't make sense. Not what you'd call current day games. People be buying for their kids this Christmas.
Yeah, because 50 Cent Bulletproof came out 3 years ago.
Now, on the flip side, the National Institute on Media and the Family, put out their list of buys and don't buys. And their don't buys makes more sense. Games like Jericho, Manhunt 2, Kane and Lynch.
I read an article about this, which was just perfectly to the point, and it was just, if you're a parent and you want to buy a video game for your kid this year, if it's got a big honkin' M on the front, don't buy it.
Next topic.
Yeah, why are parents so freaking stupid?
Who let these people have children?
I'm just saying, it's like, why can't anyone accept blame for anything? So you bought your kid an M-rated game, and then you're going to go bitch about it because it's an M-rated game. I mean, this is all things we've said before. But why aren't you paying attention to what your kid is playing, what your kid is doing, etc., etc., etc.?
Ivan, you're a parent. Answer the man.
I refuse to answer that question because right there on the front of the box, there's an entire industry organization dedicated to rating the games. And even though sometimes, that's controversial, if it's got a big frickin' M and on the back it says rated M for blood and violence and sex and drugs, and you're buying this for your kid because he says he wants it really bad.
You've just lost the
Yeah.
right to bitch about it.
Yes, absolutely. And don't give your kid $60 and say, all right, I'll wait in the car while you run into Best Buy and buy yourself a game. No, you should be there helping your children pick out games. And if they say they want Manhunt 2 for Christmas and he's 12, just tell them no. That's one of my pet peeves as a parent viewing other parents is their inability to tell their children no.
It just bothers me that, like you said, the list of games not to buy. Well, if you read the game, you know what not to buy.
You don't
Kids
even
do
have to
something
look.
wrong.
They make it so easy. It's right. There's a big one letter. If you can't read one letter on the front of a box, the last thing that you should not have the rights to do is have a child.
But it's not the parents' fault. It's society's fault. It's this's fault. It's that's fault. No one can accept blame for anything anymore.
I know.
They got baseball games and that where the one team's getting blown out, so they just take the score off the scoreboard so children's feelings aren't hurt. No! They need to learn the taste, the bitterness of defeat, so that helps them grow.
It's gotten to the point now where they actually do that. They actually take the score down.
Yeah, I know some parents who tell me that, oh yeah, we went to the baseball game, and yeah, they don't keep score. Because it's supposed to be for fun.
These poor little bastards are going to be so unprepared for the actual real world.
When one guy gets a promotion over you and, you're sitting there wondering why, because, when you were a kid, everyone would have gotten a promotion then. How come I didn't get one? I don't understand. That's where all these emo frickin' kids come from.
Freaking emo kids. Freaking emo kids playing their Square-Enix game set in modern-day Japan with their fashion.
And they're Disney characters.
Well, that's what ticks me off, is this isn't 20 years ago when you had no idea what the content of a video game was. There's no excuse anymore. Now with the whole rating thing. If your kid is 10, don't buy him anything T or higher.
Parenting tips by Chris Ivan. Don't be an idiot. Okay.
Next topic.
Mailbag. You didn't even get the word out. You just went.
Mailbag.
So this is from an admiring fan, JJ Card. Me and my friend are going to make a video game podcast. We have a name.
Well, first of all, it's my friend and I.
Good correction there. Grammar's appropriate. My friend and I are going to make a video game podcast. We have a name, some segments, and a cool microphone. We were just wondering if you had any advice for us.
Dude, it sounds like you're ready to go.
Yeah, I don't see anything that could go wrong. Go ahead. Go get him, buddy.
So is there any advice for them? Because they have a cool microphone.
Edit the show. Like, take out the ums and the thing you do for 5 hours each week?
Yes.
Or however long you do it.
More than 5.
Yeah, rather than learn how not to talk that way, it'd be good if somebody would just edit them out for you.
No, don't. No.
No, stop it. No.
Yeah, like edit and delete and
Whatever.
You know.
Yeah.
I would
You know what I
I
mean?
would say
You know what I'm
if
saying?
you're going to do it, have something that you're going to talk about set up in advance, like Chad does for us, and edit like Chad does for us. And
I would get a Chad.
get a Chad.
They're actually really handy to have.
They come highly recommended.
It's amazing how much they can get done.
The number one rule for podcasting, and I don't care if anyone disagrees with me or not, because it is volume leveling. If you have one guy who's super quiet and the other guy who's, I don't know, Bob, and if I have to sit there and constantly adjust the volume on my stereo or my iPod just so that, I can hear the quiet guy and turn it down so my ears don't bleed from the loud guy, I won't even listen to your podcast.
Also, have some kind of an indication between topics. I'm just saying, because I remember that was something that when we first started, people said that we would just go from one topic to another, and henceforth the whole next topic thing was born.
And for God's sake, please edit. I'm tired of podcasters who, record for 2 hours and then just post the podcast.
Yeah, and if you're under the age of, you say, 17 or 18, I don't want to hear you cussing the whole half hour, 2 hours, or whatever that you're putting out there.
Make up your own truths and facts.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother researching anything.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want it to be fact, seriously, just go post it on Wikipedia.
Yeah. Just go edit a Wikipedia page to make your facts truth. And then just cite Wikipedia as your source.
Because the Wikipedia is all-knowing and all-seeing. Amen.
Preach it on a mountain, brother.
That was Video Game Show episode number 67 for Sunday, December 9th, 2007. Any ham sandwiches or shattered dream pies to the world?
Shattered dream pies to stupid parents who can't read the front of a box.
Oh, wow. When you say it like that, they sure seem like idiots.
Shattered dream pie to Kim Worthy for making a list of something that they could just read on the box of the game.
Shattered dream pie to all of the EVE Online players. I guess apparently the latest expansion, when you installed it, it wrote over your boot.ini file in Windows and tanked your machine.
Ouch!
Now that's a bug.
No, that's a lazy QA department, so there you go, guys.
Ham sandwich to doctors. I know Phil's father had surgery, my uncle had surgery, so I'm just saying ham sandwich to doctors.
Yes, thank you to the fine folks at the Cleveland Clinic that performed quadruple bypass surgery on my father this past week. He is doing extremely well now.
Yeah, and I don't know what doctor did it, but whoever took the tumor out of my uncle's brain, a ham sandwich to him, too.
Shattered dream pies to blocked hearts and brain tumors.
Screw you, brain tumors. See, that's the kind of MMO they need. See, you're looking for somebody you can hate. I want a medical MMO, and you can fight cancer. Because everybody can be pissed at cancer.
It's like the Mucinex commercial where you fight those little
Exactly.
mucus people. I'm here to stay in this guy's lungs. Oh no! It's Mucinex! Mucinex, the MMO.
Now, thanks to our friends over at Microsoft and EA, over the next couple weeks we're going to be giving away download codes from the EA store for full retail versions of Hellgate London and Crysis. For the first contest, we're going to be giving away one Hellgate code and one Crysis code. All you have to do to win one is describe for us your perfect MMO. You can either describe it visually by drawing a picture and emailing it to us, verbally by leaving a description at our voicemail, or emailing it to us in the mailbag. When you leave your submission, please tell us which game you would prefer.
Limit the verbal description to like about 100 words, and the picture should be one picture. I don't want like a comic book.
And if you're going to have this audio, make it like less than a minute. And as usual, send your comments, questions, queries, or concerns to the mailbag at mailbag@videogameshow.org. Skype us at Video Game Show, or call us at 320-300-GAME. That is a standard long-distance call, and all normal fees apply. And that's a wrap. Good night. Bob, what is
My answer to this question is either UT 2004, Qbert, or Chad's mom.
Why me?
And how would you work the Chad's mom MMO?
Couldn't you pick on Tom?
He's not here. See, that makes it less fun.
Bob, if you wanted an MMO, what would be your ultimate preferred MMO setting? You know, if you wanted to have some game, you know, if you had an MMO, I can't even think straight now. Damn it!
And I can't say
Chad's
your mom.
the MMO. This is wrong.
You don't want to portal in, I'll tell you that much.
Apparently, you want to hate Chad
And his mom.
No, we love Chad's mom.
Oh, I'm offended, and it's not even my fault.
Yeah, did you just have a wheel with all of our names on it, and you spin it before the show to see who you're going to attack?
Hey, Chad, you could feel free to kick his ass on the 21st. Just take it outside so you don't break anything.
I'm pretty
Dude,
sure Bob could kick my ass.
I think
so.
Bob could take me.
I don't know, man. I've been working a lot. You just kind of, I don't know, wave a pillow in my general direction, I'll collapse.
I've brought fleece and one of those Tempur-Pedic pillows. I win.
Oh, Tempur-Pedic, man, that's plain dirty.
Did it make you mad? How about some sleepy time? Oh, here's a nice pillow. Oh, yeah, you go ahead and curl up. I promise I won't step on your neck while you're sleeping.